With this equation, I don't know that things could get much worse. I mean, we have an equation with all kinds of fractions littered all over the place, and it just doesn't look pretty. So we've added one step to our step process to say, hey, we have an equal sign. We can multiply by a least common multiple or least common denominator to remove these fractions. If there wasn't an equal sign, we couldn't pull it off quite this easily, but with the equal sign, we're afforded the ability to multiply both sides by a value. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on all of my denominators all the way across. I can't just pick on one of them. I got to pick on every last one of them. So I have a 2, a 5, and a 5. If these were some kind of fraction that I was going to add or subtract, and I wanted to find the common denominator or the least common multiple, I would look at the least common multiple of all these numbers, and intuitively, quickly, we would recognize that that is a 10. So 10 would be the least common multiple of all denominators. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 10, we're going to make it into a fraction, 10 over 1, and we're going to multiply every term on each side. Essentially what we're doing, well, let's go ahead and write it all the way out here. X over 5 minus 39 over 5. What we're doing is we're saying let's multiply the left-hand side of this equation by 10, and we're going to multiply the right-hand side of the equation by 10. This essentially then gets distributed to each term. So we could have said we're just going to multiply each term by the 10, but where it's really coming from is I'm multiplying the entire side of the equation by that value. In which case, I'm going to get 30x divided by 2, and I'm going to get 10x divided by 5, and I'm going to get 390 divided by 5. I could have probably saved myself just a little bit of work here if I would have taken and said, well, I could have reduced the 2 with the 10, made it 5, but 30 divided by 2 gives us 15x, and 10x divided by 5 is going to give us 2x. And the 390 might have been a little bit of work, but what I can recognize here is that I distributed a 10, so I could kind of go back over here and I could say, well, 10 times 39 divided by 5, well, the 5 is going to reduce with a 10, leaving me with a 2, so all I really did was double the 39, making this into a 78. This fraction will reduce to 78 no matter how you slice it. Simplify expression on each side of the equal sign. Is this simplified? Yes. Is this simplified? Yes. I'm ready to move on. Use addition property to isolate the variable. I have a variable on the left and a variable on the right. I need to isolate it on one side of the equal sign. I'm going to choose to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. Do my subtraction. Give myself a little bit of room here, and I'm going to have 13x equals a minus 78 because these cancel each other out to the end. So now I'm left with 13x equals a negative 78, and I'm going to have to run with this at this point. So now what do I have to do? Divide. Use multiplication property to make a coefficient of 1. So if I divide both sides by 13, divide both sides by, it's not a negative 13, by 13, I'm going to get x, because the 13's reduce away, and on the other side I believe that divides out to be a 6, and it would be a negative 6 because of the negative 78 that was living there. And again, we can plug it back into the original and check our answer.